ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಡ್ಲ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ 24x7. ಇದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸದ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬ.
ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿಗಳೇ, ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳೇ, ಗ್ರಾಹಕರೇ, ಆಗಿವೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಕ್ರಾನಿಕ್. ಆಗಬೇಡಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ಯಾನಿಕ್. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಡ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿನಿಕ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರಿಣತರು ನೀಡುವ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟಾನಿಕ್. ನಾನು CA ಯಶಸ್ವಿನಿ ಕೆ ಅಮನ್. ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಡ್ಲ ಅರ್ಪಿಸುವ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ವಿಷಯ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಪ್ರವಾಸೋದ್ಯಮ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಸುಮಾರು 4.6% GDP ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ನಿಂದ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು ಹಾಗೂ 30 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ಗಿಂತಲೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಾವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ನೀಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದು. ಅಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರವಾಸೋದ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳಿವೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬಹುದು, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಮಾಡುವಂಥವರು ಅಥವಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥವರು ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡುವ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಯುಲಾಲಿಯಾ ಮರಿಯಾ ಡಿಸೋಜಾ ಅವರು. ಸುಮಾರು 30 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಸುದೀರ್ಘ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ಇವರು ಅಲ್ಬಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಸ್, ಗ್ಲೋಬ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿ ತದನಂತರ ಲಿಯಾ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೂರ್ಸ್ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಪ್ರೊಪ್ರೈಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನೇಕ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ BSc ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು ನಂತರ IITC ಮುಂಬೈ ಹಾಗೂ ಏರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮುಂಬೈನಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಕುರಿತಾದಂತಹ ಪದವಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ರಾ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ನ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಇವರು ಅನೇಕ ಕಡೆ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್ಫಿನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಏರ್ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೈಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೂ ವುಮೆನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಡೈಜಿ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ನ ಮೂಲಕ ವುಮೆನ್ ಅಚೀವರ್ ಬೈ FKCCI, ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಅಚೀವರ್, ವೊಕೇಶನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮುಂತಾದ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಭಾಜನರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಇನ್ನೋರ್ವ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಸರಿತಾ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಇವರು. ಸನ್ಶೈನ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇಸ್ ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ನ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಇವರು ಪವರ್ ಎನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಸ್ ಇದರ ಫೌಂಡರ್, ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಹಿಳಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಅವರ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ಪಂದನ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ ಆಫ್ ಉಡುಪಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಭಾಜನರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಚೇರ್ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಯೋಗ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಚೇರ್ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಮುಂತಾದ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಭಾಜನರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು ಮೂಲತಃ ಮುಂಬೈ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ನಂತರ ಮಣಿಪಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಅನೇಕ ದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. UK, ಜಪಾನ್, ಜರ್ಮನಿ ಮುಂತಾದ ಕಡೆಗಳಿಗೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮಗೂ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
Namaste.
Yes. So, first and foremost, as you had just mentioned, 27 September 2023, ಒಂದು ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಡೇ ಅಂತಾನೆ ನಾವು ಆಚರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಡೇ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸೇ ಟೂರಿಸಂ, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಮೇ ಬಿ economic development or earning revenue for that matter. So, Yula ma'am, what do you say and why do you think tourism is an important aspect in the country?
Tourism industry is a very important industry for a country because it earns a lot of revenue. It gives excellent job opportunities to people from non-skilled to the very skilled. Okay. You see, the variation of the employment is too much and requirement. It's a labor-oriented industry, I can say. It improves infrastructure. It improves the cultural changes of your local community, of a place when people come here as tourists. So in all, it really helps in the overall development of a city and a country in all.
Yes, okay. Yes, Sarita ma'am, what is your opinion about why tourism would be important for a particular country or maybe a state or even a small place like Mangalore or Udupi? Why is it important?
So good morning everyone and happy to be here. Tourism the meaning of tourism is exchange of culture, exchange of people across the globe. So when we travel for tourism, we need to explore the culture of the place, the beauty of the place. The world is so beautiful, and each country, each state is, especially India, is like a wonderful landscapes, culture, heritage. So when we talk about tourism, as we are from the tourism industry, our main vision is to ensure that every family gets to enjoy this beautiful world with travel, facilitate travel so that they can experience the joys of different cultures, different states, different heritage which India has. So mainly I see tourism as a very enriching experience for a human being, and it's very integral and it's very important. So parallelly, if we do that, it will engage the community and it will definitely lead to higher revenues for the tourism industry. So our main mission is to allow as many people to travel, to experience, like India has Rajasthan, Kerala, Karnataka, Kashmir. Every state is so unique. So in this short life of ours, if we could travel and explore and take the help of professionals to see the world, I think that's what we are here for, to facilitate travel.
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿದೆ, ದೇಶ ಸುತ್ತಿ ನೋಡು ಕೋಶ ಓದಿ ನೋಡು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದ ಮೋರ್ ಯು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್, the more experience a person gets. So you learn to know about a lot of cultures, you learn to know about the traditions which are followed in different places, etc. Now coming to tourism, we say there are different types of tourism that is happening in and around the country. So we have heard about something like medical tourism. So what exactly is this medical tourism, and what are the opportunities you have in medical tourism for our country especially?
Specifically, if you are asking for medical tourism is tourism which involves medical treatment. Okay. Now, India has few of the best medical hospitals and facilities in India at an economical cost than the cost they would involve outside. So, may it be a treatment of especially dental for people, or anything else, maybe a heart problem, maybe anything. So if a person comes from Europe, US or Canada or other parts, like we have a lot of Gulf countries, people coming in, flying into India for these specific treatments. Now, when they come, look at the chain of tourism that happens. The patient comes for treatment, gets admitted to the hospital. So the treatment is cheaper than his one treatment there. With the patient, the family will come. Okay, family will stay in hotels, use local transport, use local cuisine. So what happens is, it gives you revenue to the hospitals, to the transport, to the hospitality industry, everything. And all this, trust me, many people tell me, all this cost is lesser than the treatment, only the treatment they would get back home in their home country. So India has best of medical treatment at a very economical cost. That is why people come. So medical tourism has got potential in our country, especially in a little town of ours, Mangalore. Mangalore, has got few of the best hospitals, best medical treatment, best doctors. So there are a lot of people who come to Mangalore itself for specific treatments. So that's called medical tourism. It earns revenue to the hospitals and to the city,
to the others. So it kind of creates maybe a ripple effect where there's one sector which is, the purpose of it was one, whereas hospitals, whereas it creates revenue for the rest of the sectors also simultaneously. Right. Sarita ma'am, like when it comes to the south, we find there's a lot of religious tourism aspects which we find, where you have different temples, churches and mosques, especially even in Mangalore for that matter. You have a lot of places where you can visit. Now, what is the prominence of religious tourism, and how is it actually possible to develop it when you come to the south, or maybe as a country as a whole?
Yeah, India is a a spiritual center for the worldwide community. So a lot of Indians have migrated to different countries. If you go to any country in the globe, there are like millions of Indians residing there, and they all want to connect to their roots. And how do they do that? Is through spiritual tourism. They will come to India. They will have the ceremonies. They will visit the temples. And India, every I think 1 kilometer you will find one holy shrine or a place, and having ancient relevance. So we have seen spiritual tourism where a lot of Indians who are residing, not only Indians, globally, the global community, they really, after especially the 2 years of COVID, spirituality is at the top of the list. Peace is at the top of the list for every human being. So they all want to, grow, evolve spiritually. So India is where they're looking at, where they can come, and which is the birthplace of so many civilizations, the birthplace of so many religions. So they want to really come here. So we as travel providers assist, help them to come to India, and we have clients from countries like Mauritius who are of Indian origin. They want to come and they want to see all the spiritual places here. There are 3 generations of Indians residing in the United States. They want to come here and they want to explore all the religious places. So that kind of service is what we provide, trusted, so that they can come and in a very simple and easy way they can maneuver themselves in this vast nation. So spiritual tourism is definitely on the top of the list, and including Ayurveda, wellness. So all in all, holistic way of life is what the world is looking for, and India is definitely the hub for that.
Okay, right. Moving ahead, now we find a lot of people at office who think of a trip or plan a tour during their vacations and all such things. Recently, we have heard of ChatGPT, which says you decide what trip you want and it automatically pops out everything what you want. So, in this era when there's a lot of technology growing and people think that they can plan their tours and trips on their own, what is the challenge that your entity or your organization faces amidst this technology?
We have to change with the technology, according to the technology, move with the technology. So if technology has advanced, we have to advance towards it.
Okay.
So instead of the old traditional business, you also have to put yourself in the social media, make your presence felt. Your marketing has to be done technically, technologically. So, but then the younger generation is doing things on their own, which is actually a big hit to our industry. That doesn't mean that our industry will die so easily, but it will have an impact on our business volumes, because domestically and internationally, most of the people now, if it's point to point travel, they prefer to use the technology, advanced technology, and travel on their own. But there are few things that they still have to come back to us. That's when it helps us, to arrange for these things. But you're right, it is technology, advanced technology is a challenge to us. But we have to face the challenge accordingly.
Okay, so maybe the quality and the service, it would be of course better than doing things on your own.
Also one thing I must tell you this, you do it on your own, you have no one to go back to if there is any problem. So if they come through us to a travel expert or a tour operator, then you always have somebody to back on. Something goes wrong, just pick up your phone and call the person who's arranged it. So we will do something. But if you, the risk of it is, if you're doing it on your own, you have no one to go back to.
It's like sometimes using Google Maps to travel to a location, but then Google Maps will not be accurate and you end up somewhere else. But if you have a person who's trained and you have a driver from your own, he knows.
That's why we are called expertise, because we know what we are doing and we know what you want. Okay, so we will, and you must tell us your budget, we will work accordingly. We may be a little more expensive, obviously, we are there to do business, we are not here to do charity.
Yeah.
So, a few people still prefer us because, as I said, there's somebody to back on.
Yeah.
Call up and say you have not done this, you have not done that. But if you do it on your own, whom do you call up and scream at?
Okay, so what kind of technology have you actually, put into your business, which has helped you to
Like,
grow?
see, you keep updating your website, you keep updating your Facebook and Instagram accounts
Okay.
and things like that. Post it on your, your different packages, your different things. Make your presence felt on social media, media, so that the youngsters or others, they kind of know that you are there in business.
Okay.
And few of them come, few of them don't. So
Okay.
that's how it works. Yeah.
Sarita ma'am, same question to you. How have you incorporated technology, or how do you think technology has really helped me out to bring out the better out of your business?
Definitely technology has super power charged us with a lot more knowledge. We could be sitting any part of the globe, but we have access to a lot of knowledge, a lot of information about places, which is propelling us to study more about new destinations. See, the world is a vast place and the population is huge. So there may be a segment of people who would, prefer to do things on their own, but there is a larger segment of the community which requires expertise. So it's just like any other profession. There's a lot of information online, but definitely people who know the value of expertise, professional service, they definitely appoint an expert for any. May it be the legal profession, the medical profession. It's not that information is not available online, but in the travel profession, we are creating experiences, and it's just not about booking a ticket. There is a family who's going on a holiday for the first time. They want to know what kind of an experience we can give them in terms of the head of the family may not have time to put in so much time and effort to navigate through the airfares and the hotels and all of that. It's a huge operations. So what the families prefer these days is just call us up and tell us, okay, Sarita, these are the dates, and my family wants to go on a vacation which includes such, like maybe a hill station, maybe a beach destination, maybe a cultural tour, maybe a spiritual tour. So we understand the requirements of the customer and customize it and give the experience of a beautiful holiday. And that's what more people are asking and more people want. So technology has helped us, in fact, because we've got the 25 years experience, which I don't think will be available otherwise. So that experience is the expertise and the knowledge which we give to our client, and he comes back seeking for new destinations, new holidays, new travel planning. So definitely technology has helped us, and way forward is we have to go hand in hand with technology and use it to our advantage.
Okay, so technology has practically helped to make these travels like mere trips to more of memories, and which can be cherished lifelong by your travel customers.
It's kind of made the world a smaller place, because with the technology, as Sarita said, you can reach out to any part of the world at a click of a button.
Yes.
So that is how technology helps you.
Yeah. Very true. Okay.
So 22 years back we started, I started my company here, Sunshine Travels in Manipal, and the medical students studying there are still in contact with me. They have, because of technology, I can serve them for their, when they were a student and when they got married, they went on a honeymoon, that was taken care of by us, and now their children's holiday, they still connect to us. And how is that possible? Because of technology, because of the accessibility to any person across the globe. So it definitely is a big plus for us.
Okay. We have a caller. Just 1 minute. Hello.
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 Yeah, madam, good morning. This is Vinod from Mysore. My question to panelists is, majoritarily we can see the urban tourism is always in scope. Say example in the city level or abroad level. But how we can address our state level, say example historical or very village perspective tourism where we can see there are no tourists visiting or facilities or you can say connectivity and other things are not in shape. Do you think it's a private tourism needs to address or a government also has to take interest in this one? Because examples we can see Kalburgi forts are there, even to majority extent Hampi and even Mangalore surroundings we have many of the such things. So how we can address like a village or historical tourism perspective things and challenges, madam?
Okay.
So what measures can be taken from tourism or government side for this?
Okay, very good question. This is Vinod from Mysore. He's specifically asking about rural tourism or maybe historical tourism. How can not only the private sector but government sector also tap on this opportunity?
Hi Vinod.
Hello.
Why people prefer urban tourism is because of the infrastructure available, facilities available. Historic tourism is very important and it is playing a very vital role in the tourism industry today. We do have people going to historical places. Rural tourism is something that we are actually trying to tap right now, but the problem is the infrastructure. Yet again, for tourism you need good roads, you need good access to places, you need awareness with the local community, rural community, awareness and importance of tourism. Suppose we want to, from Mangalore city, you want to go around 20 kilometers away to places called Katil or Bajpe or where there is a scope for a rural tourism, rural community tourism, because of which the community will get economy development, the infrastructure and everything. Now, as private tour operators, we can do as much as we can. We would want the government help, government assistance, government departments, the what do you call, related departments, concerned departments of tourism to promote. They are doing their best, but also remember there is that kind of resistance from the rural people because their culture and heritage, their culture can just take a blow because of later commercialization of rural tourism. So the rural community is also very conservative about these things. It's a good aspect, it's a good thing, but we have to look at it from that point of view. But then they also forget that they will have development because of the tourism sector. Yeah, you will have better roads, you will have better thing, you will have better cafes or better this thing and all that stuff. But that awareness of importance of rural tourism needs to be created through some workshops or the other, road shows or the other. Otherwise, it's difficult for you to tap rural tourism. We have tried. I have tried it myself. We are doing it to a little extent, but to a greater extent, like you go to Singapore, Malaysia, they take you to families, they take you to rural places, they make you eat with the local family, they see their day-to-day life, which is very important and interesting because then it becomes the exchange of culture with the communities. But that awareness, creating awareness is what we need to know.
So I think government will have to take a stand here and create more of awareness about this aspect. Sarita ma'am, would you like to add on anything to this aspect when it comes to rural or maybe historical tourisms?
Yeah, as you can see the Kannada movie which was released, Kantara, how it showcased the culture of Tulunadu, Parusharam Kshetra, in such a magnificent way that it is one of the top movies of the decade, not only in India, across the globe. So what has got the attention of the audience is that there are such, spiritual, religious practices in every corner of India, but do we highlight it? Do we showcase it to the nation? Do we have a cultural center where we can show performing arts, where we can show this kind of beautiful heritage which we have? We need to really think about it and understand that we cannot let go of our culture in the name of modernization. We do not want to copy any nation.
Ma'am, we have a
very
caller.
original.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
ಹಲೋ
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿ.
ಹಲೋ, ನಾ ರಾಮರಾವ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳ್ತದಾ?
ಹಾ, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿ.
ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, there is a tourism department in Lal, Bangalore near city bus stop. Whether tourist guides and pamphlets are available there? Next, on 6/10/23, that is yesterday, there is an advertisement in Deccan Herald saying that Indian outbound travel booms VFS global alerts applications about visa frauds. Please explain. Next, there are various tourist spots like temples, churches, beaches in Dakshina Kannada and Udupi district. How to make a tourist more popular like in Kerala and Goa? Next, Bangalore is called Honda, Kannadadalli Honda anta heltalla. Bangalore is called Honda city. Government should repair the road at regular intervals. This department should take stringent action against traffic violations. Next, in USA, sightseeing buses, urinal toilet inside the bus is available. For every 100 miles in USA, there is in USA highway, there is a McDonald's hotel in National Highway with a clean toilet facility. Next, apart from good hospitals and hotels, what are the other added attractions for a tourist? Next, my suggestion, around 100 taxi and auto drivers should be given training in Dakshina Kannada and Udupi district on how to behave with the tourists. They should act like driver come tourists. They should know at least 20% of Hindi and English to speak. There should be a separate color for such taxis and autos. Concession may be given to them in bank loan, rate of interest, road tax, etc. Next, whether Vande Bharat trains have succeeded in attracting more tourists. Police should take severe action against thieves in trains and railway stations. Next, what are the schemes and facilities provided by central government to attract foreign tourists? Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Ram Rao is the president of Mangalore Productivity Council. He's a senior citizen and he makes it a point that every episode he calls and asks a set of questions to us.
Okay.
So thank you, sir, for your questions. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you at that time. So you were just discussing about the historical tourism that we can promote in country.
Yes, definitely. So, especially India, I'm talking about India, especially our Udupi district, if you go to see. So, we need to understand the importance of, developing infrastructure, awareness, education programs, and as sir has informed, I think all of the points need to be implemented. Maybe till date, a lot has been done, and yet a lot has to be done. We are just, we are just understanding the importance of tourism. So as we grow to understand, we will definitely, along with the government, along with private enterprises, because in coastal we have Association of Coastal Tourism. So this is a private organization joining hands with the government Department of Tourism. If we could come into dialogue and write down what are the challenges and how we can overcome them. Definitely there are a lot of challenges, but what India, the highlight of India is that we have so much of cultural heritage that definitely with a deeper understanding of the challenges, we can overcome them in the days to come, because there's an awareness now. Everybody is understanding the importance, how much tourism means to the nation, not only in terms of GDP, but even in terms of overall, development of the country. So
Yes.
definitely, sir, your questions are extremely important. Each one of them has an answer, and we will take it up one by one.
Okay. So the first thing that he mentioned was there's a tourism department now. So if any person approaches the tourism department, Yola ma'am, do they get any guidance and advice, or do you have guides, or do you have brochures, or some kind of assistance which the department provides to a person who approaches the department directly, in fact?
In Bangalore, I am sure the tourism department has sufficient brochures.
Okay.
Guides may not be available at the tourism office, but major historical monuments of Karnataka, especially North Karnataka, where tourism really blooms. they have department licensed guides.
Okay.
There is a training, like Mangalore University had a guides training program where I had gone as a faculty, teaching
Okay.
faculty. But then in Dakshina Kannada and Udupi, Sarita will agree with me, we do not have licensed tourism guides.
Okay.
So when I handle these foreign tourists, we train our own guides.
Okay.
We, take students from Aloysius or Agnes or wherever, good communication skills kids, we train them on the job as tourism guides. So that's how it works.
Oh. So
Yes.
whenever it comes into guides, I mean locally they are not available.
Not
is what is-
available in Mangalore, but other places like say Hampi, Hassan, Belur, Halebeedu, Aihole, Pattadakal and all that, they
Yes.
all have department guides.
Okay.
Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, everyone has department guides. Only this belt of Udupi, Dakshina Kannada so far no, but there are courses that are offered to the students for MBA tourism. Mangalore University has got MBA tourism.
Okay.
I think Srinivas College has got, many other colleges have got MBA tourism. But having a degree of MBA tourism, you are actually not going to be a qualified guide because the guide needs a certain training.
Yeah. So
Yes,
the
we are in
language and
talks.
all such things
Languages.
will have to be-
Unfortunately, not many language guides we have here.
Okay.
It's mostly English. Pick and choose, you might have one Spanish, one German, one Italian guide, which is difficult to get or something like that. So department is doing their best, but I think there's a lot of budget constraint for them as well, grants constraints, so they have to also balance.
Yeah.
We but tourism is department is doing their best to help tourists who come here. So and where one more question about the drivers being trained.
Yes.
I am a member of Canada Chamber of Commerce for many years, and Chamber arranged for certain courses to train guides, the rickshaw auto drivers. We did have an auto drivers training.
Oh, nice.
2-3 days it was. But then what happens is, I must tell you this, in a place like Mangalore or Udupi, Sarita will agree with me, you do not have that kind of flow of tourists where these drivers can depend on only
on the
tourists to earn their daily bread. But creating an awareness of how do you treat a tourist. Atiti Devo Bhava.
Yes.
You see our Atiti into our place, but treating them with that respect and that vigor, it has to probably come from within after a certain training. But we can still consider this, talk to the department and say, now the Sera KSRTC started, you see, something like that. Maybe 2 days a week, you dedicate yourself to tourists or something like that. Some provision like that needs to be worked out.
Yes, so they need to be, create an awareness should be created as to how you actually
Yes.
approach them, how you can
Yes.
take them around the city or the
Yes.
tour and all such
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Sarita ma'am, now you've been to a lot of countries, and as a tourist, if you would have approached that country, there's a lot of good infrastructural facilities, sanitation wise. As Ramrao sir also said, USA has a toilet, even urinal toilet, even in a bus. So when it come down, there are a lot of people coming down to India, but as we know, there's a lot of infrastructural gap between our country and the others. So how do you think things have to change over a period of time from now?
So my advice or guidelines would be that there should be a core committee or a intellectual minds coming together, experts from the field of tourism. Okay, they have to be identified and they have to be chosen by the government or in private, and then we have to work with the government. We have to work hand in hand with the government, because a government tourism minister may be today a minister for tourism, but next he may be a tourism minister for mines and all. So he may not be the actual person who knows the grassroots problems which is happening in every place regarding tourism. So why don't we have district-wise experts or state-wise experts coming together and understanding, okay, this is a 5-year plan we have for tourism, for the development of tourism in supposing we are looking at Udupi and Dakshin Kannada, we can, get international tourists here. There are international flights over here. Countries like Oman and all, they don't have, a lot of rainy season, and everybody is looking for the coastal belt because of the rivers, because of the beauty of the landscape, because of the green, lush green scenery. This is something which everybody wants to see. So why don't we have a proper plan in place so that we can connect the places which are the highlight of that particular district. Supposing if you are looking at Udupi, we have Marvante, we have Agumbe, we have Karkala, we have the Jain Basadis there, we have Mangalore, which is one of the port cities. We have the Malpe beach, which is one of the most beautiful, Kapu lighthouse. So we need to take up these places, develop the infrastructure, connectivity, and public mode of transport, and then make a long-term plan. We just can't say today we will educate the rickshaw drivers and tomorrow we will do this. No, it is a continuous, ongoing process, and we should have a definite plan in place to implement it perfectly. And this will happen only with a government-private partnership. And with the experts.
Okay.
Yeah, I will want to add to what Sarita said. It's very important that the government looks at a long-term plan and involve stakeholders, major stakeholders like us, private tour operators, and have a strong committee, private committee with the government officials. So because we know what a tourist requires, what are his demands and requirements, and the government comes with us, or we go on board with the government as the stakeholders. That is what is required. So it's important that these committees are formed not only for the sake of it, but for working towards a better tomorrow for tourism. That's important.
Okay.
Involve the major stakeholders of the tourism industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming to the times when COVID actually hit, there were a lot of sectors, especially tourism also, which was hit badly. So subsequent to COVID, there were some packages which were given to the tourism department and tourists especially to develop and grow. Now, at present, do we have any such schemes for which tourism's especially from the private sector can grow, or for their development, or some kind of incentives which the government is providing to the tourist sector?
There are a lot of schemes that the central government and the state government have put in place, like MSME for tourism sectors. Different various schemes are available. I may not have them ready with me, but there are various schemes available. Like COVID, as you said, 2 years. I think every industry was hit badly, but the tourism industry, hospitality industry was the worst hit.
Yes.
Worst hit because no one could travel anywhere. So we were hoping that post-COVID people will start traveling, and we were hoping that there's something called the revenge tourism, right?
Yeah.
You didn't travel for 2 years, come let's pack and go for 2 years for a tour. It did start that way, but not as much, because don't forget 2 years people had economy constraint, like jobs went, how many, I think in the tourism industry itself, COVID, some 30 billion people lost their jobs. Yeah, so many travel agencies in a small city like Mangalore closed post COVID.
Yes.
So government wanted to revive the industry. We did have. They offered us some loan to a recognized tourism, like Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. I am a member of Ministry of Tourism. They offered you certain, loan schemes and things like that. Few used it, few didn't. So government did try to help.
Okay.
But then, we were kind of sunk 6 foot down. So to come up from that, it was a little difficult. But there are schemes in place which tourism department will be able to help anybody who wants to make use of these schemes. So that's how it works.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sarita ma'am, how was it after COVID, or maybe during COVID, your experience, or what are the things that you had seen around with maybe your co-workers, or there could be co-businesses which would be having affected by COVID, and subsequently now it's been 2-3 years. So how has it been as a journey?
Yeah, like from a newborn to a teenager, that was what the journey was all about for my company till COVID. And just when you thought that teenager has started to be independent and doing its living its best journey of travel and tourism, COVID came, and again we just fell down to the floor to a point of a kind of a zero level. So it has been a very uphill task post COVID. Like, we had to take baby steps and come up as a business. But definitely MSME government has supported small businesses through the Mudra scheme, which is really helpful, especially for women entrepreneurs. The banks were really coming forward to ensure that we had financial help at that time, and it was really, really helpful. So I'm grateful to the government for taking that important decision. And the bank manager, that time it was Scott Bank, he came to my office and he offered to give the loan with the minimum requirements at that time of COVID. So definitely government has good intentions, and they would like to see the tourism industry thriving. But to actually reach its full potential, we really need to form like, it should be a kind of a task force. It should be priority on the agenda, and we should bring policies, and we should implement them as soon as possible, because countries like Vietnam is getting arrivals from all over the world, and it's touching its highest post COVID. Why couldn't India, being such a vast nation, we can do a lot more. So we need to understand how important time is. So we shouldn't waste time. We should immediately join hands, and we should bring a long development plan for the tourism industry in India. So that's fine,
Okay.
Most
Ma'am,
important task at the moment,
yes,
to
you've
get
been
the tourism industry up and running.
Yeah, so you've been founded of Power, a platform of women entrepreneurs. So
That's right.
how, as a woman entrepreneur, was it possible to cope up with everything, and how are you promoting, creating an awareness among the other entrepreneurs who are in the tourism sector or maybe any other sectors there through Power?
Yes, so you have Eula ma'am, who's also a woman entrepreneur, and salute to her as well, because as a woman, what are the challenges we have, handling family and profession. But since I relocated from Mumbai, it was absolutely a new place for me geographically. I had never been here before, and to start a business from scratch, it was extremely challenging, but highly enriching. So my journey, I wanted women who are relocated to Manipal, Udupi, Mangalore, this coastal belt, because this is it's a financial hub, it's a knowledge hub. There are so many universities, a lot of professors come here. So, a lot of women, in terms of their spouses, they have to relocate, and they don't have a profession which they can pursue at a point of time if they relocate. So my intention of starting Power was that every woman who has come to Manipal or this coastal area and would like to does not have a job opportunity, which I did not have at that time, should have a community which fosters entrepreneurship. And that was the birth of Power, platform of women entrepreneurs, wherein we ensure that we started with 9 women entrepreneurs in the year 2009. They are the founder members, and today we have nearly 100 women entrepreneurs. So what we do is we help in mentoring, we connect them to each other, so we learn, we grow, and we develop as a community of women entrepreneurs who loves to see each other be more successful. And I started from home with one computer. That also, I took a loan and bought a computer. And today we have our office right in the heart of Manipal city. So it's a journey of 22 years, but definitely I would say that every woman should take that first step. So family, yes, I have a daughter, I have family as well, my in-laws, everybody were there. But professionally, you should be on the driver's seat and take your career forward.
Yeah, so
Should
that
be focused and
helps you to
dedicated.
become more independent, and we are really happy to see such bright people achieving a lot of heights in this country. Ma'am, you've been also a trainer and maybe a mentor to a lot of students also. So when it comes to the students, maybe those who are in their PU or maybe in their 10th, they'll have a lot of confusions. Okay, there's something called as travel and tourism, many would not be aware about it. So if you have to guide the students, what are the different courses which they can pursue, especially in the travel sector, because it's not as a guide alone. Maybe there are things like air hostesses or maybe some other technical staff and things like that. So what are the different courses a student can pursue when it comes to travel and tourism?
First is that they should have a passion for this industry, because we deal with people, not with machines.
Yes.
One. They have various courses like hotel management.
Okay.
Now, hotel management doesn't restrict them to only the hotel industry. They can get into cruise liners.
Okay.
They get into the airline industry as cabin crew, air hostesses.
Okay.
Then they have aviation courses, again where I am going to teach as a visiting lecturer. Aviation courses provide you with aviation, which deals with airlines, airports, customs, immigration, and then hotel management, yet again hotel management.
Okay.
So, and then there are universities and colleges which give you MBA. So these the basic course, what they do again, hotel industry or cruise liners or airline, all right. Now you have something called a MBA in tourism.
Okay.
MBA in tourism can give you HR jobs in MNCs of hospitality industry, airline industry. You can join as HR or you can join as airport managers or something like counter staff, airline ticketing staff, airline PR, all these. So from just being a hotel a guide to hotel staff, cruise liner staff, airline staff, multinational travel company staff, HRs and things like that. So there are various courses, air hostess training institutions, where they train only air hostesses, only cabin crew. MBA tourism teaches you for everything to get into any tourism sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are various diplomas and graduations and advanced diplomas, post-graduation courses in different diversified manner in our industry.
Okay.
So tourism industry is just not the tourists, you see. It's a chain of industry of hotel management, cruise, flights and things like that. So they have a scope in everything that is related to the tourism industry. Because don't forget, tourism industry is one of the major employment generation industry. We are probably the second or the third largest industry in the world to provide employment. Okay, we are also one of the major economy driving industry in the world. May not be in our own country, but on the whole. Like I think in India, 6.28 GDP is coming from
the
tourism department, tourism sector. So knowing this, present day generation students are taking up these diverse courses in the industry.
Okay, so in Mangalore or maybe in Udupi, do we have colleges which provide such courses or diplomas maybe for that matter?
Yeah, Mangalore University gives you MBA tourism. Srinivas College gives you MBA tourism. MAPS College gives you MBA tourism. St. Agnes also has MBA tourism now, I think. St. Aloysius has got MBA tourism. I'm not sure about others. But all the major colleges give you some course or the other that's related to tourism industry.
Itself.
Yes, hotel management, tourism, aviation, all that. So students can make use of it and get into the tourism industry in any wing of the tourism, in any aspect of the tourism industry. It need not be just hotel, just this, just that. It's not limited to one. You have so many options. Like if you do engineering, you just have to be an engineer. You do doctor, medical, but in our industry, when you're trained, you have so much of scope to get into any industry related to tourism.
Okay. So there's a vast scope
it's a vast
for
scope,
students also who can actually pursue things.
And it's interesting because again I'm saying, you're dealing with people. It's a people-oriented industry. It's a labor-oriented. It's interesting because every day you learn something new. Every day you have a new experience. So it's a different, but you should have the drive for it. You should have the passion for it.
Yeah.
Only then you will really do well. You will be a success story in this industry. So that's how it works.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll take a short break for now and then we'll get back. ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿರಾಮದ ಬಳಿಕ ಮತ್ತೆ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗೋಣ.
ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗಿ, ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ. ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮ್ ಹುಷಾರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವಿದ್ದೆ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿ ಚೀಪ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಆಯಿಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಆವಾಗ ನಾನ್ ನಿಮ್ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ.
ಅದ್ಯಾವ ಆಯಿಲ್?
ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ರಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಸನ್ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ 100% ಪ್ಯೂರ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಲೈಟ್. ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಎಣ್ಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆರೋಗ್ಯನ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ಕಾಪಾಡಿ.
ಇನ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರು ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ.
ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿರಿ.
ನನ್ಗೆ ಡಯಾಬಿಟಿಸ್ ಚೆಕಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ, ಹೊರಡ್ತೇನೆ.
ನಂಗೂ BP ಚೆಕಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ.
ಅಲ್ವೋ ಸದಾಶಿವ, ನೀನ್ ಯಾವತ್ತು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು ಚೆಕಪ್ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು.
ಚಾನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಿರಿ ಮಿಲೆಟ್ ನ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿ ಬ್ಯಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇರುವಾಗ ನಮ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯದ ಚಿಂತೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಗತ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸಿರಿವಂತಿಕೆಗೆ ಸಿರಿ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿ ಬಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್.
ಸಿರಿ ಸಾರಿ.
If you don't get this generation, that's cool.
We pick our own track.
And the Comet fits our vibe.
It's electric.
It's woke.
It's made just for our clan.
Cause just like us, this car cuts the crap, man.
The MG Comet EV, the no-nonsense car.
ಶಾರೀರಿಕ, ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಮತ್ತು ದೈಹಿಕ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಪಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನವರಾತ್ರಿಯ ಪರ್ವಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ದಿನಾಂಕ 15 ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ 2023ರಿಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಕ್ತಿಭೂಷಣ್ ಗುರೂಜಿಯವರ ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಧರ್ಮ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಭಾನುವಾರ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆಚ್ಚಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಡ್ಲ 24x7 ವಾಹಿನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ.
We understand the joy of savings. Spa presents the Festival of Savings. This festive season, shop at Spa for all your festive needs. The more you shop, the more you save. At Spa, you'll find everything you need to make your celebrations unforgettable. Shop and get 25% cash back. Offer valid from 30th September to 11th October. Rush to your nearest Spa today. Conditions apply.
ನನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.
ಹೊಸ ರೇಂಜ್ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಸವಿ ನೆನಪುಗಳು.
ಶಬರಿ ಒಬ್ಳು ಮಹಾ ತಪಸ್ವಿ. ಅವಳು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಹಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಕಚ್ಚಿ ರುಚಿ ನೋಡಿ ರಾಮನ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾಳೆ.
ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಕಚ್ಚಿರೋ ಹಣ್ಣನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಶುದ್ಧ ಅಲ್ವಾ ತಾತ? ತಾತ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ನೀನು ತಗೋ.
ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಶುದ್ಧವೇ.
ಬೋಲಾಸ್ ಮಳಿಗೆ ಡ್ರೈ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಸಿಹಿ ತಿಂಡಿಗಳ ಉಡುಗೊರೆ.
Presenting the OMG range of iCNG.
Big boot, big appeal, big reaction. OMG, it's CNG.
We are Glow Touch and we are hiring. If you're a recent engineering graduate, then we have just the place for you. We provide world-class training, a variety of employee perks, and a culture that balances hard work with celebrating life. Join a team of like-minded individuals. Put your engineering and technical skills to use. Apply now at Glow Touch.
ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಸಣ್ಣದು, ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡದು. 23 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಉತ್ತಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯದ ಭರವಸೆ ನಿಮಗೂ ಹಾಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮವರಿಗೂ. ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಕೆಎಂಸಿ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಕಟೀಲಿನ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಸಂಜೀವನಿ ಮಣಿಪಾಲ್ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ. ಹೊರರೋಗಿ ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಲೋಚನೆಗೆ 50% ವರೆಗೆ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಗಳಿಗೆ 20% ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ. ರೇಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಗಳಿಗೆ 20%, ಹೊರರೋಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯವಿಧಾನಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ 10% ಹಾಗೂ ಔಷಧಿಗಳಿಗೆ 10%ದವರೆಗೆ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಳರೋಗಿಗಳಾಗಿ ದಾಖಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಲ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾ ವಾರ್ಡ್ ವಿಭಾಗಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ರಿಯಾಯಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸೇವಾ ಅಗತ್ಯತೆಗಳಿಗಾಗಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ನೋಂದಾಯಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅರ್ಜಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಗಾಗಿ ಸಂಪರ್ಕಿಸಿರಿ.
ಹಾಯ್ ಹಲೋ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಭೋಜರಾಜ್ ಮಾಮಂಜೂರು. ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರಥಮ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ಜೀನಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯಗಳ ಹಾಲಿನ ಹುಡಿ ತಯಾರಾಗಿದೆ. ಶೀಘ್ರದಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ತಿರದ ಮಾಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂಗಡಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದೊರೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯಗಳ ದೋಸೆ ಹಿಟ್ಟು, ಮೊಳಕೆ ಬರೆಸಿದ ರಾಗಿ ದೋಸೆ ಹಿಟ್ಟು, ಮೊಳಕೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಸಜ್ಜೆ ಜೋಳದ ಚಪಾತಿ ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಅತಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಜೀನಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ ತಯಾರಾದಂಥ ಈ ಉತ್ಪನ್ನಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಾಗಿರಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಆತ್ಮಶಕ್ತಿ ವಿವಿಧೋದ್ದೇಶ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘ ಪಡೀಲ್ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಹಾಗೂ ಉಡುಪಿ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 30 ಶಾಖೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು ನಿರಂತರ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಹಾಗೂ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘವು ಕಳೆದ 1 ದಶಕಗಳಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೇವೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಠೇವಣಿಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕರ್ಷಕ ಬಡ್ಡಿದರಗಳು, ವಿವಿಧ ಸಾಲ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು, ಚಿನ್ನಾಭರಣ ಸಾಲ ಪ್ರತಿ ಗ್ರಾಂಗೆ ರೂಪಾಯಿ 4,750ರವರೆಗೆ. ಅತಿ ಶೀಘ್ರ ಚಿನ್ನಾಭರಣ ಸಾಲ ಲಭ್ಯ. ಗೃಹೋಪಯೋಗಿ ಸಾಲ, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಸಾಲ, ವಾಹನ ಸಾಲ, ಮನೆ ದುರಸ್ತಿ, ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಕಟ್ಟಡಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಲ, ಗೃಹ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಸಾಲ, ಇ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಸೇವೆಗಳು ಆಯ್ದ ರಜಾ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಲಭ್ಯ. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೇವೆಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಡಿ, ಆರ್ಟಿಜಿಎಸ್, ನೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮನಿ, ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಯೂನಿಯನ್, ಎಲ್ಐಸಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಮಾ ಸೇವೆಗಳು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಲಭ್ಯ. ವಾರ್ಷಿಕ 2,000 ಕೋಟಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಹಿವಾಟು ನಡೆಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘದ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಕಚೇರಿ ಆತ್ಮಶಕ್ತಿ ಸೌಧ, ಬೈರಾಡಿಕೆರೆ ಹತ್ತಿರ, ಪಡೀಲ್, ಮಂಗಳೂರು.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೂಡಲ ಅರ್ಪಿಸುವ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ವಿಷಯ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಹಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಯುಲಾಲಿಯಾ ಮಾರಿಯಾ ಡಿಸೋಜಾ ಹಾಗೂ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಸರಿತಾ ಸಂತೋಷ್. ಎಸ್, ವಿರಾಮಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ಅನೇಕ ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಕುರಿತು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ನೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ come and cruise, and you find them a lot of foreigners flooding in here and there in Mangalore. So what is the scope of the cruise tourism in Mangalore or in this coastal region, ma'am?
Cruise tourism is actually one of the most benefiting revenue-wise tourism sector, I must say. We are handling cruise liners now for the last 20 years plus. Pre-COVID, just before COVID, we had around 27 cruise liners that came to Mangalore port, and we did around 30 to 35,000 foreign tourists in a season of 6 months. They visit Mangalore just for a day.
Okay.
Post-COVID, last year we have just had around 7 ships which were around 8 to 10,000 foreign tourists.
Okay.
They are here from morning 6:30 to evening 6:30.
Okay.
So our job is to be local operators, providing them coaches, guides, and taking them around the places of interest to see. Like we take them to the temples, Jain monuments, Udupi temple, local St. Aloysius chapel, or a cashew factory, artisan village at Pelikula, and all that. So I just want my viewers to calculate 30,000 foreign tourists spending even $50, $50 minimum per person. What is the revenue that my city earns with these cruise liners? Plus thousands of people get employed because you have buses, so bus company, bus drivers, assistants, guides, escorts, mics, mineral water, lunches. So look at the chain of jobs and chain of revenue that your city earns because of these movements. So it's a good interesting cruise tourism is an interesting aspect of tourism. And right now government is supporting us a lot because the importance of cruise tourism has been taken very seriously by the central government and the state government tourism departments. They go out of their way to promote cruise tourism. In fact, cruise tourism was one of the topics at major conferences, at all the conferences that they have. So I think the present Prime Minister Honorable Prime Minister is so keen in promoting cruise tourism as a major tourism because it just enhances the economy of the city in a major way.
So Mangalore, maybe being a coastal region, it is a boon to us to have developed this.
Yes.
As I think Ram Rao sir also had mentioned, Indian outbound tourism is actually more. We have actually contributed about $15 million USDs to the foreign exchange of other countries. So these kind of tourism can actually help to increase the income of our country rather than pouring out our currencies to the other countries, I believe.
Yeah, you're very right, because it's good to hear tourism is doing well when it is outbound. Our people are going out and spending our money, Indian money, in a foreign country. In return, don't forget, you are making that country rich, and our country money is going out. We would encourage and request our viewers, do as much as domestic tourism possible, because we have, as Sarita said, we have the best of tourism places in Mangalore. Maybe the famous Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, Udaipur. Similarly, Shimla, Kulu Manali, Kashmir is doing well. Kerala, God's own country, is one of the must see in the Lonely Planet book. We are neighbors of Goa. Goa is doing so well in tourism. We are neighbors of Kerala. Kerala is doing so well. Karnataka has all the potential. All the potential. So we have the scope to improve our tourism, domestic tourism, and attract. Somewhere I have a feeling, the lack of knowledge about the rich culture and heritage our country can offer to other countries, to the foreigners, is somewhere lacking. Somewhere, they are doing their best. Government is doing their best, but still it takes a lot of time for people to realize that India is a tourism hub. You see, we have many other industries that top the list than the tourism. The day people realize in authority that tourism industry has to be one of those top priority to promote, we would probably be still sending people out, taking our money out, unfortunately. But we have every right to go enjoy the other countries, culture of other countries and all. I'm not saying don't go, but we will also try and promote our own country, so that our country earns revenue, our city earns revenue, our country becomes more sustainable, in tourism, is what I think.
No, as we say, India has a lot of, we have everything in fact. We have the beaches, we have the hill stations, we have places where there's a snowfall. So we have varieties. Maybe the proper kind of marketing and the proper infrastructure, in fact, with a lot of good sanitation facilities can actually attract a lot of people from outside to us. Yeah. Sarita ma'am, now coming to talk about the future of this industry and the career opportunities that probably this tourism sector can give, because ma'am, Yula ma'am already mentioned there are a lot of courses which are actually offered by a lot of prestigious institutions in the city. How can a person take tourism as a career ahead, or maybe set up a business in this particular sector?
Yes, definitely. The future is tourism, and the world has understood it. Today, we have completed almost 75 years of independence. So, whatever we could do, we couldn't do in the last so many years. I think the next 5 years, tourism is going to be, going in double speed. So, as an industry in India, definitely students and the youth, I can say that it could be the next big thing to happen in India. And if the government and private go hand in hand and we work out a good tourism plan, I think it could be like as important as how IT has been to India. I think tourism could be doing that. And in a way, I would also encourage a lot of local tourism, rural tourism, so that the youth don't have to go in search of employment. There is employment right there where he is because of tourism. Because tourism is linked to all industries like hospitality, transport, everything, the handicraft, the local culture like Udpi saris. Now we have an organization which is promoting Udpi saris. It is going obsolete, but now a lot of money is being invested to bring back the industry of Udpi saris, which is very encouraging. Then we have the Matti Gulla, which is also a GI tag product. Then we have Mallige farming. So this is called the Green Initiative, which is a theme for this year's World Tourism Day. So the way forward is to look around and see where the growth opportunities in tourism are, make a development plan, and the youth should have a great future in tourism. That's what I can say. We should look forward to that. And we definitely look forward to that. A country like Dubai, Singapore, what were they 75 years back? And today, what are they? The number one in the tourism. Globally, they are number one in tourism. And everything is man-made. Whereas India has everything natural.
Yeah.
So now, where do we stand? So we need to now go in full gear and gear up for the future. Make trained professionals, invest in infrastructure, get a lot of investment in this sector which is used for the growth of the industry.
Okay.
So all the tourism sites, like if we have Jog Falls, and what about Niagara Falls and Jog Falls? It's a waterfall after all. But what has United States done with Niagara Falls? Millions of visitors coming from all over the world. And what about our Jog Falls? What is the infrastructure that we have there? So we have to develop that. And then there is so many cultural monuments, which are UNESCO sites, and in Karnataka itself. So are we having that many international arrivals? So if we don't do something right now, it's high time, and I think surely we will.
Okay.
We'll see Karnataka on the global map of tourism.
Yeah, very true. So even the government has made a survey that in the next 6 years, maybe by 2029, tourism will almost contribute 9 to 10% of the GDP. So that's the importance government is able to find in this sector. Sarita ma'am, another question that I would like to pose is, in case if a person wants to be a tour operator, wants to set up a tour small office and do some business, so what is the advice that you would give us? How should you set up? How should you go about? What are the facilities you get and things like that?
Yes, the first thing is knowledge is power. You need to have knowledge.
Okay.
And how do you gain knowledge? Is by education and by self-learning.
Okay.
So if you want to set up a business in the tourism industry, first and foremost, get your knowledge up to the maximum. And you need to know destinations. You need to have a level of understanding of client needs. And regarding infrastructure, you could even work out of your home. You seriously don't have to have huge infrastructure. What is important is you, because you are a travel consultant. You invest on yourself. It's not like manufacturing where you need to have crores of rupees to set up a manufacturing unit. Actually, tourism industry is, with a minimum investment, you can achieve the world. So with with your own talent, with your own initiative, with your own determination, with your own hard work. So invest in yourself. If you want to be a travel consultant, or you want to be having a travel agency, or you want to be in the hospitality industry, transport industry, there's a lot of scope. But first, educating yourself about it is important. It's not about how much money you invest in an office. It really is not how we progress in the business. Even in a very modest beginning, you can start. So that's my advice to any young entrepreneur. We are here to mentor you. We are here to guide you. If you need any mentoring, if you need any guidance, we are here for you. But understand that you need knowledge to start the business.
Okay.
Nothing other than knowledge will help you in this industry.
Yes. So a person needs to have thorough knowledge about the business.
Basic knowledge.
And also maybe the interest, the love for that particular job will actually help you give much better to the customers who approach you. That's how it is.
But one thing I can assure you is that it's the most exciting, most innovative, it's the most challenging, it's the most extraordinary career you can choose. Because it's not just simply connected to one field. You have if you're running a business, you have to take care of all aspects of the business. Like it can be financial, the branding and marketing, the HR. You need to understand operations. So you're not only one department. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you really need to have all skills. So you need to be a leader. You need to be perfect before you even lead a team. So a lot of work has to be done on that individual who wants to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So start today.
Yes. So just like how weddings are planned, if you have a big budget wedding, you have to have everything in place. So a tour is not simply like, okay, this is your destination, this is the time you reach. There's a lot of things which you have to think about, being from the small water bottle till the final destination that you reach. So there's a lot of things, and it's like an overall all-round management which has to be done for the trip. Now, ma'am, we just spoke about that outbound tourism is actually giving a lot of revenue to the other countries. Now, what we have seen in the latest budget is there's a tax implication on it also. So whenever there are foreign packages, there's a 20% TCS which is done on this packages. So has it actually impacted any way in outbound tourism? People are reducing from their travels outway, or how is it actually going?
It has affected to a great extent, because don't forget 20% TCS is a big amount for an expensive tour package abroad. So people are now choosing low budget tourists choose outside the country. So your costing is less, so the TCS amount that you pay is less.
Okay.
With what in mind the government has implemented it, we have no idea. It is their goodwill, but it has made a hole in the pocket of the tourists who want to go abroad. Also, taxation in our industry is different slabs of tax. There's a 5%, there's a 12%, there's a 18%, depending on the tariff, depending on certain slabs of things. There are a lot of associations, like I am a member of Indian Association of Tour Operators. We're trying to get the government to make memorandum and request to make it a single window taxation, but I think it could be a little difficult, because don't forget, we start from two-star hotels to 3-star hotels to 7-star plus hotels. So you can't have the same taxation for 2 stars and the 5 stars, because 7 stars. So that is why probably this kind of taxation exists. But it does make a bigger hole in the traveler's pocket.
So based on the budget of the person, maybe the travel plans are being planned accordingly.
So people will obviously, suppose I have had a 5 lakh budget for a travel, I will look for a 3 lakh budget per person, so that my TCS is reduced. I might as well use that money for something else than paying that kind of money as a TCS. That is what immediately a person will calculate in the mind. So
Okay. Now coming across, when we say you have to, as a business, if I want to set up a business, tour operators, ma'am just guided about it. Now let's say I want to have a small restaurant, or maybe I want to have a homestay in places like Chikmagalur and Madikeris and all that. So how do we go? How do the people? They will not have much knowledge about what to do. So they may start, just renting out their premises, telling it's a homestay. Is there any, licenses, or, you need to get some permissions from the local tourism department, or how is it?
Yes, right now the tourism department has put everything online.
Okay.
Everything is on their website,
Mhm.
including the homestay. So
Okay.
all that you have to do is click on their website, go on the homestay,
Mhm.
and check what is your criteria to be eligible to have a homestay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there are a lot of criterias,
Mhm.
lot of criterias, like you got to be staying there, this and that, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
After you have checked your requirements, criteria, you got to then upload the required documents to their website, and then they will scrutinize it.
Okay.
And if required, they will come to your place for an inspection.
Okay.
And after the inspection, like I have gone myself as a member of the inspection team representing the IATO and tourism department. So you go to homestay, and there are guidelines that are given to them.
Okay.
There are documentation that are required, like fire safety and police departments, NOC, whatever, different things. Okay, it's a long list.
Okay.
So the inspection team inspects the site, inspects the homestay, and all the relevant documents.
Okay.
There are 5 or 6 members team, inspecting team.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and all have to agree that the documentation is in order, the place is in order. Only then you are given a license.
Okay.
So at times, ease of doing business is what we have to probably implement, you know. But then thankfully online is helping you, because you're sitting in your office, you can put everything
Put in all the
online.
details.
Yeah, like my own renewal of the Ministry of Tourism Government of India renewal is online. So I
Okay.
just had to upload documents,
Okay.
and now it's under scrutiny. They will scrutinize. Once they come for inspection, but I think renewal they don't come, but you have to upload all your required documents.
Okay.
So at times maybe the documentation is too much,
Okay.
you feel, but ease of business. But then see, all the departments have to safeguard their interest, right?
Yes.
Suppose the homestay that it's not up to the mark of a tourist,
Yeah.
there could be a complaint. So it's
So
both
all the
ways.
measures, eligibility criteria
Eligibility
will have to be
criteria
met.
has to be met.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it's easy now. Like you go to DC sir and say, sir, he'll say, go to the website. There's everything.
Okay.
Eligibility criteria, your documentation criteria, everything. Update everything, upload.
Okay.
And then the scrutiny comes. So
That's how it goes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Sarita ma'am, when it comes to ease of doing business, what is your point of view with regard to, maybe it's tourism, like everything, hotels, or maybe these homestays or restaurants, or maybe the tour operators? How is ease of doing business according to you?
Yes, first and foremost, regarding the TCS, I just want to clarify here that 5% to 20%, yes, there has been an increase, but that's claimable. You can claim it through your income tax returns. And another thing is that if you have a TAN certificate, you need to pay only 2% TDS, then you don't have to pay the TCS. Maybe, Eula, I'm just thinking aloud that maybe this has been introduced so that a lot of travelers then move inwards into India.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that's the reason why the government has put that discouraging tax, but it's not directly impacting the costing, because he gets it back through his income tax. He can claim it under IT. So that's how it is, and people would like, maybe the government is encouraging more of domestic travel, and definitely that's on the top of the list, because as you know, G20 we had recently, and our Honorable Prime Minister was having the G20 in all the important tourist destinations of India. So that was the agenda there, to highlight the culture of India to international tourists. We had the G20 in Delhi. where such a beautiful presentation on what India has to offer to the world. So I think we are making inroads into changing the perspective of India for the foreigners. So it's a really a great beginning. I can really have a great vision for India in the future. So coming back to your question, the ease of doing business, yes, definitely. Government regulations have to be there. For any industry, there are government regulations. So first and foremost, we should have one tourism cell in organization like Chamber of Commerce or the district industry center. If we have a tourism cell there, that will facilitate a new businessman to understand what are the norms governing his sector. Maybe he wants to get into river tourism, maybe he wants to get into beach tourism, he wants to do mountain tourism, or there may be some adventure sports he wants to introduce, because these are all new concepts in India, and safety is a major priority there. So that's why the government has a lot of rules in place, but there is nothing that cannot be achieved. So if you go to that, what I would see is, if we have a tourism cell which is facilitating new businesses for tourism industry, then that businessman will understand what are the requirements and he will fulfill the requirements as per the government norms, and he can start the business. So I think this has to be done as soon as possible, so that new businesses can come into being and give a new destination to the world. That is Udupi, Mangalore, Karwar, Murdeshwar, Karkala, Barkur, such amazing destinations we have. Just we need to have the right infrastructure guidelines so that new businesses can, come up there, like new hotels, maybe budget hotels can come up there which are neat and clean and offer that service. Transportation between these cities need to improve. So we need to have more coach tourism. Like when I went to Kenya, when you land in Nairobi airport, there is a fleet of 10 Volvo buses waiting to receive the guests all over the world. They come to Nairobi, and from there they go for the wildlife safaris, which are, Masai Mara, and all the buses are going. So that was like 15 to 20 years back, and that was the level of tourism over there. And imagine Mangalore airport, you have, these Volvo buses ready to welcome these international guests. It would be a real lovely vision for Mangalore to receive these guests. Yeah. So I think we need to think on those lines and implement, as soon as possible.
Yeah, very true. Just as you spoke about buses, now there are a lot of bus operators in and around here. If as a person you want to start a business which operates buses, would it be, as an experienced professional, I rent these buses and I do a business, or purchase them and take loans and do such businesses? How would you prefer a person would do it in case if it's bus operating?
If it's a bus operating only for the tourism purpose, then you'll have to think twice. Okay. Because as Sarita said, very rightly said, there is a lot of difference from Indian tourism and the foreign inbound tourism. Especially say now, let's focus to Mangalore. Okay. If somebody buys a bus, a couple of Volvos, paying so much money, depending on the tourism, tourists who are coming in, could be a little difficult because of the non-awareness of the importance of tourism. Yeah. So it would be better for somebody to be tied up, say, with the, any tour companies and things like that. Even tour companies will not be able to guarantee a transporter a certain amount of business on certain number of days. It's quite difficult. But places like, say, Bangalore, Belur, Halebeedu, or anywhere else, it's possible for you to use your buses, luxury buses, only for the tourism purpose, because they have throughout the year. Yeah. It could be adventure, it could be religious, it could be leisure, it could be student, it could be medical, it could be whatever kind of tourism we are talking about happens in major cities. It's possible. But initially, to invest such a huge money, you will have to do your market survey, you will have to do your homework, you will have to have your knowledge, you have to have your facts figures and facts and figures clear. Otherwise, could be a little, I'm not saying impossible, it could be a little difficult for you.
Okay, so you need to measure the depth of the ocean
Depth
before
of
you
the ocean
just
before
jump into
yes,
it.
yes,
Okay.
that's how it.
Yeah, ma'am, you spoke about the Golden Triangle or the tourism triangle. That's somewhere in the north. Now, when you come to the south, do we have any such triangles or specific places which have been declared?
Government of Karnataka has got these trains which do a lot of North Karnataka, strips. They have these luxury trains which are doing these rounds and taking tourists. It's working. There isn't nothing called as Golden Triangle, but they do have a circuit which is being promoted by the tourism of Ministry of Tourism, Government of Karnataka with the help of central government. I'm sure. Yes.
Okay.
But that is restricted only to North Karnataka so far. In South Karnataka, South Kendra or Udupi district, we have regular people coming, Indian tourists coming for temple tours.
Okay.
Yeah, so we work out a package for them and give it to them, and that involves beach tourism and an ice cream at Pabbas or an ideal, which is a must eat.
Yeah.
So this circuits here, we work on that. Like what I do is, I have a Jain tour separately, Karkal Mudabidri with Sons Farm, Mangalore temples, Kadri temple, Gokarnatha temple, St. Aloysius chapel, Achal Industries is one package. This involves a local market visit or artisan village at Pelikula. So that's one circuit that we give. So different circuits we work out to suit the requirement of the tourists that we handle. But it's not a fixed triangle which is fixed by the tourism department.
Yes.
So that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've almost come to the end of this program, and it was really lovely to talk about a lot of aspects on travel and tours. So as a closing remark, what would you suggest or give an advice to our viewers?
To the viewers, please remember, tourism is a very, very important aspect of our place, our community, our industry, our country, because it is one of the major revenue earning industry. But then I am not saying that we should exploit our place because of tourism and become that commercial, too much of commercialization, and the natural culture and heritage is gone because of the what do you call selfish thing of the tour operators. No, so respect our culture, respect our country, respect our place, but please promote tourism, because it's a very important revenue earning industry. It's a very important job opportunities, employable industry. That's what I have to say. And good luck.
Thank you, ma'am. Sarita ma'am, as a piece of advice, as a piece of closing remarks, what would you like to say?
Yes, definitely tourism is the future, and we can showcase our beautiful culture to the world. So each one of us in our own way can spread the word about the beauty of Udupi and Mangalore and Dakshin Kannada to friends and relatives across the globe. Invite them to visit our state, our beautiful district, and experience. In that way, we have, we are encouraging tourism here, and we are supporting local. We have surfing, we have scuba diving, we have all of this. So please invite all your friends and relatives to visit our state from all over the world and experience the hospitality, the food, the culture of our state, our Udupi district, Mangalore district.
Yes. Thank you, Yula ma'am. Thank you, Sarita ma'am, for this wonderful discussion. On behalf of Namakudla and all the viewers, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this show.
Thank you for having us.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಸಮಯ ಕಳೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿವೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್, ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್, ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟಾನಿಕ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾ, ಮುಂದಿನ ವಾರ ಹೊಸ ಅತಿಥಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಹೊಸ ವಿಷಯದಿಂದ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಸಂಜೆಯ ಗಾಳಿಗೆ ಹೂ ಬಿಡುವ, ಸಂಭ್ರಮದ ಕರೆದೇರಿಡುವ, ಕನಸಿಗೂ ಉಳಿಯುವ ತರ